Another thing that I was discussing with my juniors just today, and I think is very, very important, is to document every single thing which is happening in your life as a matter of habit, so that you can take it, you can carry it to your practice as well. And what I mean by that is, document how? Record every phone conversation. Write, verbalize in writing whatever kind of communication you've had with anybody at all. In fact, if you work with a prosecutor or someone who deals with the government on a regular basis, you'll see how meticulous they are. I worked with a prosecutor for a long time. Every single day, the prosecutor would come back after doing 20 or 30 matters. He would spend around 2 hours dictating letters to each government department with individual letters saying, this is the name of this is the file number and name, this is the name of the case, this is the court where the proceeding happened. Today, this thing happened in this court. The court said this thing listed for further proceedings on so and so date. Would sign it and then send it to the department. Of course, it is a necessity to clear your bills, but that is a habit that I have now inculcated in myself, because I see a lot of times what happens is, I've got people who tell me that my lawyer does not inform me, I'm not sure what is happening, I don't know what the next date, or in fact, next date everybody tells you. But what actually transpired, what is needed to be done now? Lawyers keep clients unaware. And let me tell you, your clients will walk away if you do that with them. And if you show a certain amount of meticulous behavior, there will be more clients who come to you and who will stay with you and who will refer more clients to you, just because of the fact, you win or you lose is a very different story altogether. Advocacy, and of course, you have to manage the expectations of the client. If you don't do that, if you say, हाँ भाई तुम्हारी bail पक्की है, हो जाएगी, और उसके बाद bail gets dismissed, then it's a problem. But if the client comes to you and you tell them that, see, I'll try my best, these are the things on which there is a good chance you can get bail. But there is always this little issue with how much of discretion there is with the judge. So no matter how good your case is, the judge can still go ahead and dismiss your bail application. So when you manage expectations properly, and then on top of that, you are meticulous, you are a little, you show a little dedication, you show a little compassion for your client, you will go a long, long way just because of that. Just, I think 2 days back, I got a new client who had a lawyer who had already paid him the money, and he was unhappy with this lawyer just because of the fact that his lawyer did not inform him when the client was in court. The lawyer did not call up the client and say, "Abhi bhag ke aa jao, the matter is about to come up." Just on that little point, the client is ready to now leave his lawyer, has hired me instead of that old lawyer to fight his case. These are great examples of the little things you can do differently to set yourself apart. And these are, of course, lessons not just for advocacy in criminal litigation, but for all other aspects of advocacy. Sometimes the lawyer is not needed to be physically present, but to be there on the phone to guide the client as to exactly what to say to the police. So one situation,
while registering FIR and
while registering the FIR, while giving, at all stages, because
which are the investigation statement? When else?
Okay. When
When
you are going to register an FIR, then when you are accused of an offence and you want the police to do certain things certain way, even then you can file an application. So it's something which very few people do. Frankly, I have not gotten complete success, but this is something that, because in criminal law, a lot of things that you do, matters get settled, things go in a different way. Perhaps one judge does not agree with you, does not mean that the approach is bad. So, and one thing that I did was, a client was accused of an offense. Despite him being an accused, I filed an application under section 156(3) of the CRPC on his behalf before the magistrate, saying that I might be an accused person. However, 156(3) of the CRPC says that the magistrate, and because there are judgments that says that magistrate has the authority to direct investigation as well as monitor investigation. So I went up to the judge and I said, fine, I am an accused person, FIR has been registered against me, but I am saying that the IO is not doing certain things which, or not taking on record certain things which I am supplying to him, or I'm telling him something he's not listening to me. What are my remedies? So I have filed an application under section 156(3) of the CRPC quoting this particular judgment, which says the magistrate is authorized to also monitor the investigation. So I am asking my lord to monitor the investigation, not to direct in what way the investigation is going, because that is beyond the purview of a magistrate at the stage of investigation. But the Supreme Court says monitor. Now, of course, monitor technically actually means that the court will give a certain amount of direction, guidance to the police. But at least theoretically, the court is going to say monitoring. The moment the court says monitoring, what is going to happen? The judge is going to say, all right, issue notice to the police to file their status report on what they are doing and what objection they have to the suggestions given by the accused person or the complainant in this particular case, or whatever else is there. That is again another situation that the lawyer can help the police. Karne ko to, there are a million things you can do as a lawyer for your client. In a criminal case, criminal investigation, you are supposed to be at the throat of the police all the time. Because one thing is, the police have almost unlimited powers when it comes to investigation. That means that it can be a great boon for you if your client is the complainant. It can be a great problem for you if your client is an accused person. So in either case, you have to hound the officer. Either you hound the officer on calls or by going to the police station again and again, even to the extent of going and building a rapport with that police officer. Because a lot of times, no matter what we try to do and get done in court, a lot of discretion is there with the officer himself. So I'm not even talking about financially compensating the officer, but something which is completely legal is to actually just go and build rapport with that police officer, right? Another thing that comes to my mind is, even before a person is about to be arrested, or maybe even an FIR, before an FIR is registered, a lot of times I have seen that a case comes to a court just because a very, very small thing is blown completely out of proportion. The accused person maybe thought things, wanted to act a little smart, or maybe he thought that, there is actually something called as, his sense of justice is very different from what it actually is. And, things kind of get stretched out, and therefore the matter comes to court. A lot of times, you can sort out the mess at the very initial stage itself by going to the police station and talking to the police officer. Just by doing that, you can sort out the matter. There have been several occasions that I've been called by someone and I've been told that, यार यहाँ फंस गया हूँ, ये यहाँ पे थाने में बैठा हुआ हूँ, ये जाने नहीं दे रहे हैं, ये कह रहे हैं हम तो केस करेंगे, हम ये करेंगे, हम वो करेंगे. A lot of times the police have no case, but they just want to scare the person into giving them some money. That's one thing. A lot of times, half the times I also see this situation where the police are in two minds whether they want to register a case or not. And that is where a lawyer is really required to step in. A lot of times, say someone went and filed a complaint. Now the police are contemplating whether we should register an FIR or not. At that point of time, if you step in as a lawyer, and you're for the accused person or purportedly the accused person, you can step in, you can mediate the matter very, very quickly and ensure that none of this nonsense happens. Right? None of what will happen in the future will happen.